Dr. Lisa Morgan. I'm the instructor for Advanced Pharmacology in UR 801. I would like to cover some pharmacology calculations that are common to advanced practice. You have a module in Module 1, a link to a website that has drug calculation quiz for liquids, suspensions, and for pills. That is very helpful for you to learn to do those calculations, but I want to go over a few of them with you in person that are very common, as I said, to your practice. So the first one I'm going to go over is for Lantus, which is a common long-acting insulin that is given once a day. And so the problem that I'm going to show you today is just an example, but it is for Lantus. $50 units daily. And how would we write this prescription? How do we know how much to give the patient, how much for the pharmacy to dispense for this patient? So we know that Lantus comes in a vial of 10 units. It's a 100 units per ml, and it's a 10 ml vial. So this person, if you calculate how many, so 100 units times 10 is 1,000 units per vial. So this person takes 50 units daily. So how do we know how many vials for them to have? And the reason I want you to learn how to calculate this in vials instead of pens is for two reasons. One is because it may be required that you tell the pharmacy how many units, whether it's a pen or in a vial. But most insurances now are only going to pay for the vials, and you need to know how to calculate that, no matter what type of insulin it is. So for this problem, there's 1,000 units per vial, and he takes 50 units a day, and we calculate that times 30 days. So 50 times 30 is 150 units. That's how many units he will take per month. So there's 150 units per month, and we know that we need to, I'm sorry, that's 1,500 units per month. I did that wrong. So that's 1,500 units per month. There's only 1,000 units per vial, so this person is going to need 1.5 vials per month. You can't the pharmacy cannot dispense half a vial, so that's going to require this patient to have 2 vials of insulin per month. Or if they were going to be getting, so it would be 2 vials for a month, or 6 vials if you were ordering them in a 3-month supply for 90 days. So I know that's a little confusing, but it can be confusing, but you just have to work out the math and be sure that you tell the pharmacy how many vials that they need per month. Okay, our next problem I'm sorry, this doesn't erase very well. So our next problem is for lisinopril. This one's a little more straightforward. And our patient needs 30 milligrams a day. And lisinopril generic is available in a 20, a 10, a 20, and a 40. But our patient needs 30 milligrams. But we know that the pharmacy only carries them in these 10, 20, and 40. So we're going to order the prescription. We're going to say lisinopril 20, because we know that's how it's available. And we're going to order our SIG. Remember in the previous video on prescription writing, the SIG is the directions to the pharmacist and to the patient. So we need 1.5 tablets PO daily. And so for a month's supply, we're gonna ask them to dispense 45. We can say number 45 tablets. And if that was going to be a 90-day supply, we would dispense number 135 tabs. Okay? So you really just have to think these through, think about what you have on hand, how much you need the patient to have, and how many for a 30-day supply or a 90-day supply. Okay, and the last one I want to do with you is a antibiotic calculation, and most of the time you're going to be prescribing liquid or suspensions to a pediatric patient. So I want to go over a commonly prescribed pediatric antibiotic, which is Bactrim suspension. So Bactrim suspension, also known as TMP SMX. Trimethoprim is the TMP component, and that is the component that we do the calculation for. Bactrim suspension is typically prescribed 8 to 10 milligrams per kilogram per day of this part. So it's 8 to 10 milligrams per kilogram per day. So our child that we're going to use in this example weighs 20 kilograms. Alright, so we're going to use 8 as our dosage calculation. Just for this practice, but you can decide what dose you want to give anywhere. You could do 8, 9, or 10. So we say 8 times 20 because we need to know how many milligrams per kilogram. So 8 times 20 equals 160. And we need to give that in 2 doses, so we divide it by 2, and that is going to give us 80 per day, 80 milligram per dose. Okay, so we know that this comes, we can find this out by looking it up in the drug book. You can look it up on numerous apps that you can use on your phone, but this is available in 40, 200 per teaspoon, or 5 mLs. So that's 40 of the TMP and 200 of the SMX. So remember, we're calculating by the 40 milligram part of the TMP. So we need 80 milligrams per dose right here. So we only have 40 milligrams per 1 teaspoon. So this child will need 2 teaspoons PO-BID. And we'll say times 10 days. Alright, so we need to do another calculation here. We need 2 teaspoons, which is 10 mLs, times 2, because we got to figure that BID. We're trying to determine the amount of the medication. So that's going to be 20 mLs times 10 for 10 days. And so we're going to need 200 mLs total. So on our prescription, we would write, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but I'm going to write this out, how it would look on the SIG, part of the prescription. So we would write it out, Bactrim suspension. And we would say we want to do the 40, 200 per teaspoon. And so we would say our SIG is 2 teaspoons PO-BID times 10 days, and we're going to dispense number 200 mLs. And that would be how you would write that for the pharmacy. Okay? If you have questions about these calculations, you can always email me. There are some other practice questions in the module, in Module 1. Once you get the hang of this, it's pretty simple, and it just takes using some simple math and simple figuring of the amounts and things depending on how much you need for your patient and how much of a supply that they need to have from the pharmacy. But I hope this will be helpful to you, and again, you can email me for other questions and let me know if you need any other assistance. Thank you.